La Candileja, the fire that watches the night. There are nights when the sky breaks open in lightning, and when the storm pulls away, something strange lingers in the air. A glow, a light that shouldn't be there, dancing over fences, over posts, over the highest points in the darkness. Science has a name for it, St. Elmo's fire. But in the villages where electricity arrived late, where the nights were truly black, that light had another name, another story. And that story is still told today. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a big, old house with thick walls and long hallways. In it lived a wealthy old woman, the kind who had worked her whole life and who, in her old age, wanted only one thing: to see her 2 grandchildren happy. And spoil them she did. Any whim, granted. Any rudeness, forgiven. Any mess, ignored. The children ran through the house as if they owned the world, screaming, breaking things, jumping from morning to night with no one ever telling them no. Mealtime, which should have been a moment of calm, turned into chaos, plates flying through the air, mocking laughter all around. And the grandmother, instead of bringing order, just smiled, always smiling. But children, as tends to happen when no one sets limits, started pushing further. One day, while playing, they decided their grandmother would no longer be their grandmother. She would be their horse, and they demanded it. Now, anyone with a shred of dignity would have said no. But she, trapped in her own boundless love, got down on her hands and knees. She let her 2 grandchildren climb onto her back, and so, amid childish laughter and the creaking joints of an elderly woman, they rode through the entire house, her gasping under the weight of 2 children laughing without an ounce of mercy. No one knows how long that scene lasted, but we do know what came after. The old woman died, and in the afterlife, rest was not what awaited her. St. Peter was, with the scale of souls in hand and a single charge against her, failing to raise them right, failing to correct them, failing to be the guide those 2 children needed, for letting them grow up without limits, for turning herself into their victim. She was condemned, but not to the eternal fire of cruel punishment, to something stranger, more symbolic. She would have to return, transformed into 3 flames, burning together, 1 for her, 2 for her grandchildren, wandering through the night, eternally, until the world learned the lesson she never managed to teach. And so La Candileja was born. Ever since, those who have seen her, or who swear they have, say she appears on lonely roads, when a rider gallops through the night, confident, thinking he's alone. And suddenly, without a sound, without warning, a light sits down behind him, on the horse's haunches, right where her grandchildren used to sit. The animal rears up, the rider screams, and La Candileja, with that fire that doesn't burn but chills the soul, stays there, watching, remembering. She loves, they say, scaring mischievous children who wander alone in the dark. They sneak out of bed, disobey, run off, and there she is, waiting to give them the fright of their lives. Some collapse from sheer terror. But, and this is the curious part, La Candileja never truly causes harm, because deep down she's still a grandmother. And when a child gets lost in the night, she's the one who appears among the trees, guiding them with her warm light, leading them safely back home. But there's one thing La Candileja never forgives. In schools, when the older kids prey on the smaller ones, when a child cries alone because no one defends them, and the teachers look the other way, pretending not to see, that's when she appears. She lunges at the bullies like a gust of fire, reminding them in her own burning way that protecting the weak is not optional. And when she sees a ruthless adult exploiting a child, stealing their childhood, their right to study, their right to simply be a child, La Candileja does not forgive. She hunts them down. She stalks them through the shadows until they fall to their knees, paralyzed by a fear they cannot explain. That's why, the grandparents say, La Candileja is not just a fright from dark roads. She is a warning that travels across generations. A message aimed, above all, at the mothers and grandmothers who love so much they forget to teach, who mistake constant yeses for true affection, who don't realize that every limitless indulgence is one more brick in a cage that will one day trap those very children, grown into adults without limits, without respect, without direction. So the next time you see a strange light floating over a fence after a storm, before you think of physics, of nitrogen, of static electricity, remember this story. Because maybe it isn't just science. Maybe it's La Candileja, still riding, still watching, still trying to teach, too late, the lesson,